Hello again, this is Klaus Mega, Food with Thought, Megatrends in Food, Episode 3, the industrial supply chain in agriculture. So the industrial food system, as it has evolved over the last 40 years since World War II, really, has been heavily reliant on standardization, commoditization, and mass production methods. It's basically taking industrial methods to food, um, which require harmonizing products so they can sort of work assembly style. Um, this has become this has allowed restaurant chains to form with tens of thousands of outlets, all having the same menu. It's a standardized business model to develop a concept and then uh, standardize the equipment, standardize the menu, and then build up a supply chain to support this precise requirement. So farmers in that context have become contractors. The seed and growing instructions for commodity crops, for example, will come from Monsanto, which is now Bayer, and that whether that's a potato or a tomato or whatever a particular product, but you get the seeds and you get precise instructions how to apply fertilizers and pesticides and water cycles and so on, and then the crop is essentially sold before it even goes into the ground. The same is true for chicken. The breeder stock comes from Tyson Foods. It goes to a contract farmer. The feed comes from another contractor, and the entire process is fully automated. Goes then into a processing plant, and then from there it's being packaged. Everything is shelf stable. Big thing is that everything needs to have a long shelf life because it's being transported across long distances, and it needs to stay alive, stay fresh, or stay usable for oftentimes weeks, to prevent waste. So the farm bill, this entire system, has harmonized itself and become enormously efficient. And I mean, let's be realistic that it has facilitated a population growth. It has eliminated hunger in many parts of the world. It is hugely efficient. Um, it is now just coming to light that it also has drawbacks and is creating issues, as I outlined in the previous video, which really no one could foresee. I've spent my entire career working essentially in this industrialized format, building very high volume restaurants with exactly that supply chain, with exactly those sourcing methods, thinking that it was the right thing to do. We just really didn't know any different. So today, the Farm Bill also has been structured to support this particular form of agriculture. And the industry itself has built complementary structures, sort of a vertically integrated supply chain with companies that are interdependent, right? I mean, you couldn't have a hamburger chain with 10,000 restaurants if it wasn't for a chicken manufacturing process, and a beef manufacturing process that brings a frozen patty to the table, that is precisely thick, has the precise fat content, is formatted by machines and flash frozen and so on. So that there are enormous investments in corporate infrastructures that have created and are supporting this system. Very, very difficult to change at this point in time. The change that So we are now beginning to really understand, in the industry, everyone in the industry understands that we need to do something. The question is, what do you do, without wreaking havoc? Because um, the system as it is right now produces enormously efficient yields. So to go back and, for example, stop using synthetic nitrogen fertilizer, your yields would collapse. So that's not such an easy thing to contemplate. Same is with animal protein. As gruesome as it is, I mean, it is highly efficient, produces huge volumes of animal protein for human consumption, but it is just not really a sustainable system. The question is, where's the inflection point? Where do you and how do you change? So this is really what I wanted to talk about, and because it is a huge conundrum. So what the industry is doing now, um, in order to maintain, for example, a hamburger chain, you need to have a hamburger patty, because the entire kitchen equipment and everything is focused around the patty. They have no capacity to process fresh food in these restaurants. It has to come in frozen, it has to come in ready to cook. And this is really the phrase, ready to cook. So now you look at things like the Impossible Burger coming online now. So these are plant-based protein extracts which are processed, very complicated, process again with yeast strains that have never been in the human food chain, but have been created in a lab, and they are now working to create a meat substitute. Other attempts are working to do lab-grown meats. That is still in development, and it's still too expensive to really put into mass production. But plant-based extracts, protein extracts, are really gaining strength, and the market is just exploding. That, however, doesn't solve the problem of restoring soil, because at the end of the day, we have to protect topsoil. We have to capture topsoil, and because it's not just the soil itself, it also protects water. When you have heavy rains, which are now, because of climate change, more common, and you have a soil that is bare of soil organic matter, it just washes out like sand and runs into the rivers and runs into the sea. Whereas a healthy soil that is full of soil organic matter works like a sponge. It just soaks itself full of water and it holds the water. So we need to restore soil back to health. It's the overarching mandate, not just for water, but an enormously important aspect of this is carbon capture. Because as we restore soil back to health, it also pulls carbon out of the atmosphere and into the soil. So there are organizations like 4 per Thousand is one, Regeneration International is one, who claim that we could pretty much compensate for the continued carbon output of humanity, cars, transportation, uh, uh, energy, by rebuilding soil, and that the absorption of carbon into soil could basically buy us the time we need to transition out of the energy systems and move out of the use of fossil fuels. So it is an enormously important topic that goes beyond just the food supply. So the buzzword in the industry is regenerative organic agriculture. And so I would encourage you to go online and just type in your search engine regenerative organic agriculture and see what pops up. The network is full of information already, but you can also find it on my Facebook page, Growing a Revolution, plenty of articles related to that topic.